Alright guys, welcome back to another episode. Hey, today we're going to continue the rebuild. We're going to start getting some of the details put together, get the wire harness, maybe get some of the plumbing done, and we'll see how much we can get accomplished. Stay tuned.
Woo! It's go, 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 go time. Tick, tick, boom.
Get to work. Right, little project update. So, high pressure fuel pump back installed. I ended up having to put an insert in there because that was all wrong. So I drilled it out, put an insert in there, put some JB weld to seal it up real nice, but it's a set rivet, like a pop rivet almost. So riv nut. So that's in there permanent. I was gonna do helicoil in there, but whoever had drilled it out previously had already drilled it too far and the helicoil wouldn't grip, so I had to go with the insert in that one. Intake manifold is installed, so I had put 2 helicoils in there. That's all set. We got all the timing chains on, we got the valve back in there and torqued, so now I just got to go through the book and figure out which things go back together. If I remember right, it's this cover goes back on, which will be interesting because these little hardware bolts down here are fun to get to. So this cover goes back on, then the control valve goes back on here. We'll put the PCV back on here, get that all buttoned up, and then everything else is on the turbo side. But I'm waiting to do all of that because of the issues that we have with the shifter and shift selector. All of that hooks up right here. I don't want to get too far and not be able to hook that back up again. So I'd rather not have to take a bunch of stuff apart to get to this. So I'm waiting. I got to get a new shifter for that. So I'm going to try and button up as much as I can across the front of here. If we need to do a little bit of welding, maybe I can jam that out while we're waiting. I'm trying to think what else. Got to make a junkyard run, washer bottle cap. If I buy it online, it's like 30 bucks. I get the whole washer bottle and everything. Might take that option. Might just go grab one of these from the junkyard. We'll see how it goes. I think that's it. Let's get to work, people. Hey, so some of you might remember my Jetta oil leak fixed video. This is that thing that was leaking, right? So these flanges, I'm gonna make sure these ones are nice and flattened up. They look pretty good, especially right here at the area where it's got a seal. So these ones actually look pretty nice, but I'm gonna go ahead and hit them, flatten them up a little bit, and make sure that they're just bang on before we go ahead and install it, because I don't want to have to go through that leaking oil nonsense again. And you can kind of see the previous mechanic was a big fan of the black RTV, so I've got some residue hanging out in a couple of places. I'm worried that those might actually be low spots because I scraped these real good with the razor, but I'm gonna go ahead and flat these up and make sure they're nice and true, and then we'll get this thing installed. Not sure if you guys can see this very well, but can you see where it's kind of polishing? This is after about 30 or 40 strokes on the flattening stone. So I think it was a good choice to go ahead and do this. Obviously it's making contact here and here, nothing right there. I'm sure the gasket that goes in here would seal that, but better safe than sorry. This one, if I can get the angle just right, there you go. So you can see it's making contact at the bolt holes, uneven contact at the interface, right where the hole is at. So this is why. So I'm glad I'm doing this. All right, so here's an update. We're about 60-ish strokes in on the flattening stone. You can see how it's starting to flatten up. You can see all the spots that are low. Let's get the light just right on this one. There you go. So you can see where the stone's flattening it and then where it's not actually making contact. So again, good thing we're doing this. There we go. Look at how smooth that is. This one you can still see right there, but we're nice and flat all the way across the opening there, so we'll be good. No leaks today. Alright, you guys, you probably saw me on the struggle bus there for a minute with that exhaust manifold. Apparently they got the wrong turbo on here. Now I understand why there were so many janky bolts and nuts and everything was done up wrong, because they put the wrong turbo on the car. So it has a different bolt pattern on the turbo outlet than the TSI motor. I'll show you when we get them all the way off, but next step up, I gotta pull the whole exhaust manifold, get the turbo out, and then we're gonna have to strip it down, get the right pieces on the right manifold. Fortunately I have one, and we'll get it put back together, and then we can get the exhaust put in. So let me show you what's going on. As luck would have it, in our stable we have both the TSI and an FSI engine. They're both 2-liter turbos, and the Jetta actually came with both motors. You just depends on the model and it depends on the VIN number. So this with the curved cover and a timing chain is the TSI motor, right? Still high pressure fuel injected, still a 2-liter turbo. Overall, I prefer this engine personally, but this is the TSI. This is the FSI motor. Square on the cover, timing belt instead of a timing chain, but it's also the 2-liter turbo. I don't know if you can see it in there. Okay, so 2-liter turbo. Notice the oxygen sensor is right here, right off the turbo outlet. Okay, no cat. So right here, there's no catalytic converter. So then here is our TSI. Notice we got a cat converter right here, straight off the turbo, no oxygen sensor. The oxygen sensor is over here. So that's some of the differences, but the bolt pattern is different. So strangely enough, I don't know what's the deal here, but this is the wrong turbo for the correct exhaust for this car. So we'll get this manifold off. We'll get this one, the correct one, back on there. And then we can get the rest of the exhaust put together. But that's a lot of fiddly work. It's the same sort of thing over and over again. You've already seen me put the exhaust manifold on. So same deal. 4 bolts across the top, loosen those up. The exhaust manifold should tip away, lift out. I'm gonna have to go underneath first, unhook all the lines off the turbo and the turbo support bracket. That'll be super fun in that tight little space underneath of the car. And then we'll get after it.